Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First of all, once again, I am really sorry that I was not being like very consistent with my videos. As you might have known that I was not in the country. I was basically in Thailand, so there was a lot of issues, some with gadgets, some with managing the time and all that. But now, as you can see, that I'm back. Now is the time that we can focus more on our current project and also start some exciting projects. You will see one more really exciting project along with this project that is going to be started this Thursday. So let's just get started without wasting any time. I'm straight away going to jump to my uh, app, the music app that we've been working on. And the previous video, we basically created the UI for the playing the song and all that. And in this video, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna work on the playlist. So I'm not gonna committing like what exactly we are gonna do. I'll try to list down the playlist, list the songs inside the add song, like add the functionality to add the song and all that. It might take two videos, or maybe we can cover it in one video. So let's just see how long we can take it, and then yeah, let's just get started. So the first thing that you need to do for this is to get the latest pull of the backend code, because I've made some changes into that. So once you take the backend code, what you'll see is that you'll land somewhere over here. So you can see that this is playlist. In the previous version we didn't have this documentation, and over here you can see we have a couple of endpoints that we have. For example, we have get endpoint for playlist. This is basically fetches the user's playlist. This is for creating a new playlist. If there is like no playlist available, we'll be showing this playlist by ID. If like we want to show some sort of song and all that for specific, we will be using this. Then we have this playlist, which is again like updating the playlist, how we are going to update that, deleting the playlist, songs, type of song. If like you want to add the song to this will basically we will be using this. If you want to remove the song from the playlist, we will be using this. So these two is going to be basically part of the you can say part of the song view, where basically we play the song and all that. So if we will be adding that option there, and from there we can add and remove. And these endpoint will be used when we basically are actually creating. So for that we need, a separate screen where we can maintain or manage the playlist and all that. So let's just not waste any time and straight away jump to the code. So when I get over here into the code, you see we basically created part 9 last. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new branch, and let's call that part 10, and name it as playlist. Okay. So we created this playlist, and now the first thing that I need is that I need a screen where I can show the playlist, the existing playlist or list of playlist or whatever that we have. And right now I don't have that. So you know what we need to do is that we need to get over here, and let's just create a new package, call it playlist. So this is the playlist, and now inside that you can go and get over here into this MVVM feature template. When you click on that, over here you can say list playlist. Okay, and call it screen as well, because that's how we are gonna do it. No, I think don't need a screen. So list playlist is enough. And once you do that, you will see that it will create the relevant states, lists a simple boilerplate screen for us. And then we have a list, sorry, a states that basically give us the loading, success, and error, and all these details that are there. And then we have a view model as well, which is initially not doing much. But you know that what we need to do with this for that. But one more thing I'm going to do over here is that we'll get over here into this repository and create a Kotlin file, and let's call that as playlist repository. This basically class is going to help me with fetching this, like add having all those functionality that basically are relevant to playlist. Like for this, you can see this music repository is support to get the songs by ID. This is the status. The home repository is responsible for getting the home relevant data. Authentication is related, like managing the register and login and all that. So this is again basically will be doing the same thing that we want with the other thing. with like other repositories are doing. So over here, the first thing that we need to do is that we need to annotate as single. This is a Koin annotation that we need. And since we are basically using this, we will be using the API service for that. So we'll say private wall API service as API service. So this will be injected into it. And now inside that, there will be a couple of functionality that we need. For example, we need a function for getting the endpoint. So let's call it suspend function get playlist. That is one thing. For now, let's call that as playlist model, right? And do something like this. Now, we don't have this playlist model over here. You can see we don't have the playlist model. And where do we get that playlist model is you can go back over here. In the bottom section, you will see these are some models that we have: artists, songs, playlist create request, playlist update request. Think this should help. So yeah, that is, I think, the relevant object that you can use like this. Or if you don't have that, you can get over here as well, and you can find that like this over here. So for example, you can see what kind of response we should expect. That is basically this. So the list of response is this. So let's just update that over here. Create that model, get over here, create a Kotlin data class from JSON, paste that JSON that you have and call that as playlist model and generate that. I think there is one thing missing in this. Let me see. I think there is some problem with this. We need to show that songs inside that as well, which is not yet part of it. Let me just give me a second. Let's just get back to this models. Go to here, and this is the playlist create request, update request, songs, playlist response. Yeah, this is basically the part that we need, that ID name and string. So this is the playlist that we will be using. So let's just use the same one for our Android as well. There is some problem with this, the way it has been basically created in the Swagger. So I'll fix that. But yeah, you can just get over here. You can copy the model, the exact same model from the backend, and then over here, let's call that playlist model class. And this is a data class, so you can make sure to use it as data. And now you don't have the song response, but we have song, so you can use this. So what exactly this needs is it will have an ID, it will have a name, description is nullable, it can have or may not have that. Cover image, again, it's like optional for now. User ID will be there. List of songs, initially it can be empty, but still it can have something. Created and long will be part of it. Will not be using that much of it, but still it's part of it. And we need to fix the name as well, because somehow I renamed it wrong. It should be playlist model, right? Okay, so now we have this thing like this. Playlist is there, and you can just like import this. Now inside that, you need to basically handle all these relevant thing is basically what exactly this playlist is. So get over here, and now over here, what gonna do is that we're gonna say get, right? And then we will be saying suspend function get playlists. Okay, and we're not going to pass anything, and in return what we need to do is that we will be using response for that, and that response is basically going to be as list of playlist model. Okay, so once you do that, you will basically be getting a couple of things, like the list of songs and all that, and you need to make sure that you pass that endpoint details like this as well. Now if you go back to our playlist repository, you will be something like this. I think I did one more mistake over here. we need to make sure to pass this list as a resource, because it's not like that. We need, some relevant stuff for this. Okay. So that is basically what we did. What we did is that we basically tried, okay, why are we having two different exceptions? Let's just use one. Okay, so what we did is that basically we get the playlist is if it's successful, we part it, like make it part of the resource. If it has a body, fine. If else, we basically pass an empty list to that. In case of error, we just send the error message to this. And in case of like any exception that happens, we basically pass it as an error message saying that there's something that went wrong over here, like this. Now the next thing that we would want is that you can, uh, at least I would want to make at least an endpoint that can allow me to create the playlist as well, so that we can implement as a next feature for this. So again, we can go back to our this section, and you can see over here, this is the basically playlist, and this is the request object that you can use. So I'm going to use this same thing over here. We'll get over here to Android Studio back, and over here, let's create one more function. That's called it suspend function add, or let's call it create playlist. Now over here, it will basically be uh, requiring a request from us. So for that, I'm going to say playlist request, and that is going to be playlist. Sorry, let's call it create playlist request. We don't have that for now, and in return we will be getting something out of it. We can check what exactly we are required to have. Now over here, you can see we don't have this create playlist request, so you can just get over here, create a Kotlin data class, pass the JSON that I have copied from there, and then we can call it create playlist request. This is something that we will be doing, and now you can just import that create playlist request that is there. And if you go over here, you see what exactly it's returning. It's returning the object that we created, so I think we are fine on that part. uh where is the understood? Yeah, so now you can see over here that it's expecting a playlist model, which is fine. And no, I think we should not be doing that. If it's there, the success case should have always the body. And now this create playlist request is not part of the API service, so you can get over here and create that request method as well. This is going to be post, and again, similar to what we have, like this. And this is this playlist, and instead of like having a playlist model, it's going to be playlist request. So create playlist request is the part of it. And now I think when you go over here, the error should go away. Okay, I think that is the problem. Yeah, so the response can be nullable, but we are sure, we are pretty sure that it's not gonna be null. If it's null, we will crash it and make it part of the error message. So so that was the problem. And now you have these two functions that are ready. One is getting the playlist from the server, and the one is basically creating the playlist. So now let's just start working on using these endpoints and creating something for us in the like in this section, right? So we get over here into this playlist screen. But before doing that, we will be showing, there will be a couple more events. For example, um, data class, or not data class, instead we can say object uh, create playlist. That is one more thing that we will be using. We might want, what else we want to do? I think that's for now, that's that. Now when we get over here, what we need is, you need uh, the repositories over here, right? So I'm gonna say private wall playlist repository, that's there. And now over here, what you need to do is that you just need to make sure viewmodel scope dot launch, and then over here you can just call that playlist from there. And when you get that playlist, it's part of the resource. So you need to make sure that if it's basically part of success, so you can say playlist dot hmm, just a second, that is going to be response. Okay, and now you can say when response, which means now basically if the response is resource dot success, now this means that you can, have, if it's error, you can just straight away pass the events and error state. In case of success, you can pass it like this, but you need to get that playlist from there as well. So that's it. Okay, one more thing is basically using string, but we have the playlist model for that. So I think that is also the reason it's causing the error, and I think we can remove that part. The message is also not null, so we can get rid of these as well. Okay, so now this is something that we did. What we did is that for fetching data, what we did, we call that response from like all the relevant response from there, and then use it like this of what exactly it should do and how exactly it can be done. So I think that's that. And now you will be using this function as soon as this object is of new model is created. So whenever basically we fetch this screen initial, sorry, create this model object by basically calling the screen, it will straight away go and load that screen for us. And I think one state loading state should be there all the time. So the loading state is there. In case of success, we update the state to success. In case of error, we update the state to error, and that's pretty much what it does. You can also have one more functionality here, and that is going to be retry function retry, and that's retry is again gonna call the fetch data for you so that it can reload everything. Okay, so that's that. Now we don't have any we don't have that like for any user we don't have that. Even if we add it to the screen, we might not be able to find that. But let's just add this screen, and let's add one more functionality where user can be taken to a new screen from where you can like add the playlist and then handle that. So we go to the home screen, and if we go to the home screen over here, you will see, where were we? That is the home screen content recommendation section. So like we have all these things, but we don't have the bottom section, right? Or do we have that? Let me just see. I forgot. It's been a very long since I worked on this project. Don't remember if we added the bottom navigation to this, but let's just run the code and see if I am right that we haven't added it. So the screen is there. Get started. Okay. Okay. So now we don't have that bottom section. So there are two ways to do it. One way is that maybe we can add one more action to the home screen for now, where we can from where we can basically load that. Second thing is that we add a bottom navigation. Adding a bottom navigation might take us away from what exactly we want right now, because like it can take us to a total different location for now. So I'm not gonna add that. Maybe we can add it in the next video, but for now let's just add one button over here on the just against the header, and on clicking on that it should take us to the playlist screen, so from where we can you can know you can have the playlist and all that. So let's just do that. So for that, what we need to do is that we need to go to the home screen, this one, and you can see we have a home header section where you have this image, we have a column that says welcome back and all that. But you know, this was a row. Right now, let's add a button. So I'm adding a button. First thing is that I'll be adding a spacer to this so that it takes the rest of the space. And now over here, you can add a button. it's not going to be notification. Instead, we can use list. Now over here, when you click on that, it should take the user to the screen. So for that, what we can do is that we can say view model, or you can say on playlist button clicked. Right now, there is no such thing, so that's why it's causing this. And now you can say on playlist button click dot invoke. Now you can go to the home screen section from where you are basically calling that, and add that functionality over there. And you might need the similar thing over here as well, like this. Okay. And rather than using this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say on playlist button click, we'll pass that. When we go to the home section, now over here you can see we have this section, and you can again, like on playlist button clicked, to the pass to the view model. We also need to fix this over here as well, so let's just fix that with the preview section as well. And now this one problem is there, so what we need to do is that we need to go to the home view model, and inside this home view model you can call that as on play button clicked. And now you don't have this on play button click event, so we get over here, we pass on object clicked, and that is going to be home event. So that's pretty much what you can do. We don't need that value in any case. Oops. So that's one thing we did. Now what exactly is happening is that when user click on that, user should be taken, there, and from there user can, create or do whatever from that screen. So for that, again, we need one more thing, and that is basically creating that route. So you can see that we have these routes that we created. For that, you can go for serializable data class open playlist route, playlist route, and that is going to be musify now routes. That's that. We don't need data class, instead we need an object. So we have this, and now you can just pass that, and we are good to go. So that is something that we did. Now we need to go to the main activity, and inside this main activity we need to, add the, so not the main activity, but over here in the nav graph you need to find that composable and make it link to the route that we just created. So like over here, and then over here, and the next thing would be to create the playlist screen, list playlist screen or whatever, and then pass that nav controller that we have. And now I think we are good to go. So right now it won't do anything because we don't have anything in the screen. Like over here in the list section, specifically in the success case, if we like list down the data, or let's say we create a state. So I'm going to say sorry, state is already there, so we're going to say wall data is equals to something like this. And now over here you can say, let's create a column, let's create a box. For now, let's just create a box, and that is going to be modifier dot fill max size, so that it takes all the sizing thing, and then you can add some padding to this as well. I'm gonna leave at least 16 dp from each side. Okay, and now inside that, what we are gonna do is that you're gonna say if the data is empty, which means that we need to show some sort of empty states for that, else you can create a column, and I'm gonna, for now, we'll definitely fix that by like using um, lazy column and all that. Okay, so I'm gonna use modifier dot fill max size for now. We'll basically remove all these functionalities, just like for now I'm just using this, and now I'm gonna use data dot for each, and we'll basically just print the data. So I'm gonna say text, and that is going to be it dot name. Okay, so I think that should be enough. Okay, so what I did is that basically we did created some sort of text for listing, and then now I'm gonna say non playlist found, or you can say create your first playlist and all that from there. One more thing I think we can do is that you can always create a text button. Okay, and that is going to be on click. So for that we'll be using something like this. Inside that you can create a text that says create playlist, which is good. And now this specific click event will basically be, okay, no, not like that, should be on create playlist clicked. Okay, so that's something we are gonna do. We'll be getting over here. We'll create function on playlist create playlist clicked, and then now from over here you can say this. Okay, which is the one that we already created it. So I think that's pretty much what we have done. We have almost everything that's there. I don't see any other thing for now. Now let's just test it out. Okay, so now you can see that we have created, and we have this button somehow because of that. I think the theme it's not showing. So let's just switch to doc theme. One more thing, we'll basically fix this button issue, or like this playlist will not be part of this. Instead, it will be part of the bottom sheet. So it is just for now temporarily, so that we can look and access that screen. We will be implementing the bottom sheet in the next video. So yeah, well, we just click on this, and when I click on this, you can see it says no playlist found, create your first playlist by clicking in the button, and the button we don't have it. So that is a mistake that I did. Now let me just fix that for you. We get over here. We don't need this. Okay, instead you can just copy that specific button over here and paste it like this over here as well. Now let's, and also this column that we created, this should have vertical and horizontal arrangements to be center as well, so that looks good, I would say. Now let's just try again. Okay, so now you can see we are here. Let me just click on the playlist. You can see now we have this no playlist found and this create playlist button. When clicking on that, now it should take me to the next screen where we can see the, like, we can at least add the playlist. And once the playlists are being added, the next thing would be, to show that over here as well. So let's just implement that, right? So to implement that, again, we'll be over here in this playlist section. I'm going to create one more package. Let's call that add playlist. Okay, and now inside that you can create your template that we have, and that template was create playlist. You click on that, it create the relevant stuff for you. And basically in this screen we won't have like the first state as loading. Instead we will be having the first state as null, sorry, not null, nothing. So you can get over here and create object none, or let's call it objects, like this is going to be the normal. So that is one thing. Secondly, the success state will not be containing this. Instead, the success case will have only the playlist model as one. Error case is there, and then the rest is fine. Now we go over here to the view model. You see the first state is loading. Instead, we will be passing it as normal because that's what we need. Along with that, we need a couple more events. For example, we'll be using private wall name, or let's say underscore name. That is going to be this, and then we'll be using mutable state flow for that as an empty string like this, and then we'll be using name as state flow for this. Next thing would be description, and that description is going to be that like this as well. We can add later on, the rest of the stuff for that as well, but for now we don't need that. Now we need one more function, and that is going to be uh, on add playlist clicked, which means now what it needs to do is that it needs to create some sort of validation like this. It's basically emitted an error message saying that the error, there was the name was empty, the playlist description was empty, and lastly what it will do is that it will do the stuff that we want it to do. Now I'm gonna do private wall get that repository that we created, so we'll be using playlist repository there. And now over here we'll be saying view model scope dot launch. The first thing that I want is that I want it to be making it as loading, and then we will be using create playlist, and instead of this we'll be using create playlist request. Okay, and then the name is going to be name equals to underscore name dot value, and then the next thing is going to be description is equals to underscore description dot value. I think that's that. What else it requires? Okay, the cover image is nullable, and you can pass that as null. Description is also nullable, and song ID is also nullable, or you can say an empty list. Okay, so that's something that we can do with the model. And now when you go over here, you can see that we pass these two things, and this is not like that. It should be, again, we'll be using when for that. And inside this when, that if it's a success case for resource, it will be just giving us the data, and then we know that it's the data is success, and now we can again call that one event for us saying that the playlist is created. So you can say data class playlist created like this. Get over here, it's going to be on playlist created. So I think now it should fix that. And it was uh, playlist model. Okay, now I think it is fine, right? And now the error message are not null, so you can always get rid of this Elvis operator for the extra kind of checks for this. So that's pretty much what we will be doing. So once it's success and this playlist is created, we will be going back to the previous screen, like in the previous screen, and try to um, refresh the screen so that if the data is added, we will be refreshing the playlist so that that playlist can be shown in the list the way it's created, right? So that's something, but before that, let's just test if, or like create a screen or some sort of implementation where we can show all these stuff to the users. Now over here in this section, there are two issues. One is for this, in this case, as I said, we'll be using a to do, and we'll basically implement in go back with success variable in backstack. Okay, we'll get back to this later on. And now over here we also need one more screen, and that is going to be the normal screen, which will contain the form, right? And over here we don't have much, to be honest. We don't need rest, like, a lot of things. We just need a column, and then let's just use that modifier dot fill max size for that, and then add some padding like 16.dp for this. That's that. Come on, dp. Okay, now inside that, I think musify text field, do we have that? Right, this is basically what exactly it does, is that it handles the it will handle the name, and then we will be using one more for description, and then spacer of modifier is equals to modifier dot weight, that is going to be 1f, so that it takes all the rest of the space. And then we will be using musify button. Do we have? No. So we can add a button like this. On click is there. We will be using on click for view model dot on playlist clicked. Now inside that you can just create this. Okay, what's the problem? Oh, sorry about that. It should be like this, right? Now these are the problem that we need to fix. So the first thing that I need to do is that I'm going to say wall name is equals to view model dot name dot collect as state with lifecycle. That's one thing. And then we will be using the same for description, and that is going to be view model dot description. Okay, and now, like, it's complaining, let's just add the values to this. That's one thing. On value change, we will be using view model dot on name change. We don't have that functionality yet. We'll add that. Label is going to be not like this. Instead, it's going to be text, and pass this value like this. What else is there? Placeholder. I think we don't need the placeholder. That should be enough. And now let's just do the similar for this as well. Let's use description dot value on description change is there. For it should be again similar to what this is. And let's just add this, right? And we don't need this. Okay, so that's what we do in the view model. Again, like, you see, we have on function on name changed, and that is going to be like this. And then for description change, it should be this. What else? I think that's pretty much what we did. In case of success, we can just create, a message, and not this. Instead, it should be data. It won't be shown to the user, to be honest, because it will be just like pop back to the previous screen. But you can say that we have, created successfully for that, and add this button for the user to go back, although we will be doing it automatically. And what exactly we are going to do over here is that we're going to use something like this. What exactly is this is that we created this nav controller, and we will be using the previous backstack entry, like the previous screen, and on inside that we will be using to store like this playlist created into this. And now we will be using pop backstack so that it can, remove that. Now the same thing will be done over here in this playlist screen. If we go over here to this, now over here, like, right outside of everything, what we need to do is that we will be using current backstack entry. And then for that, what we do is that the same playlist created, that we basically listen to that. And if everything is created, and if it's created, it's basically the value is true, this means that you can refresh the data and then remove that value from the state as well. So that's, I think, pretty much what we should be doing. And yeah, I think That's all. That's how it should work. Let's just now let's just see if it works. Like if we basically run this, if it actually uh, create the playlist and show it in the list. That's exactly I would expect this whole stuff to do or to work. And then okay, so now we over here, when we click on that, we get over here, clicking, creating playlist. Okay, so exactly that's the problem. When clicking on the create playlist, it should take us to that create playlist screen, which is for now, it's not doing over here. You can see. Um, Now, this is the issue that we need to do. For that, you know that we will be using create playlist route for this. And you know, we have a whole navigation section over here inside this nav route, so you can always do that. Object musify route, that's that. And now over here in the app nav graph, we need to pass that composable uh, into this as well. Create playlist screen, and you need to add that password nav controller. Okay, create playlist route like this. Now I think it should work, hopefully. Okay, there's something we need to import that as well, and I think this is not needed. We just need the restore state to true. Single top is not important since it will be only created once, so not an issue for. Okay, so now we are over here, and let's just click on this. Go to create playlist. You can see we have this playlist name, so I'm gonna say first playlist. Description is going to be, this is my first playlist. Okay, when I click on the create playlist, it's crashing. Okay, that's good sign, I would say. The problem that it says you cannot put a value playlist model into save state. Okay, why am I using a playlist view? Okay, I think that's the problem. You see, what I'm doing is that I'm going adding this whole data. Instead, what we need to do is that we need to pass just true to this. The only thing that we need to pass is the value for true. And now I think if we do that, it should be fine. We're not supposed, like, we were not supposed to pass the whole value. We were just supposed to pass the true or false to this. Now again, we get over here. We can see now we have this playlist which is there. uh, Now let's just try as second playlist. Now part name it as my second playlist. Create that playlist, and now you can see as soon as I get to this screen, it reloads, like it shows me two lists. Now I go back there, and when I get back from there, this time you see it won't load anything, and you can see the, like, the whole implementation over here in the logs as well. Like, we get over here into the create, you don't see anything in the log. We get back, you don't see anything in the log. You can create this as third playlist, and you can say third playlist for songs. And now when I click on that, you see we got some logs of creating the list and then fetching the new list, and that's how basically you can create that. So now we have this thing. The playlist section is done. We definitely need to add some sort of UI, like a proper listing for this, because this doesn't looks good. Same goes for the playlist screen. The items, the buttons are not looking that good, so we need to fix that. But other than that, I think the rest of the thing is good, looking good, and we are quite close to what we were doing, right? So over here in this section, you can see I don't have the modifier, so you can just need a modifier. Add that modifier dot fill max width. So if you pass these to the all the three things, all the three buttons that we have, buttons, sorry, or not just the buttons, like button, text, and all that, I think we should be good. And the one thing that's left is basically designing the state or the like shape of the playlist item that we have. Now we have this. You can get over here, create playlist. Now it looks much better, like the playlist name and description. You can definitely add a title to this, but I think the rest is looking good. So we are good on this part. The second, like the other part of the, or this one, this playlist that we have is slightly like not how we want it. The screens is seems looks like something like this. It has a button on top of that, which is like a very big button, and it also have this header on top of that. And after that, we have a search that functionality. I'm not going to implement the search functionality because we won't have that much of playlist, and it's like not that feasible. And along with that, the design of this is basically it shows the current favorite and then shows the song, how many songs are there. And it has a cover as well. Unfortunately, we don't have the cover. We can definitely use the cover from the song or whatever song it is. But for that, we'll have to, do some sort of backend stuff. But let's just try something similar. Okay. So in this playlist section, you can see the first thing on top was not the text button. Instead, it's the normal button. So if we get over here into this list playlist screen, we have this but text button, but instead it should have been button. That's one thing. And also the modifier for that should be modifier dot fill max width. That's something we needed. I'm not gonna use the same thing for this. Okay. And one more like problem or issue that you can see is that, let me just add this as column rather than the box. The reason is that we need something like this button. The create playlist should be there for any case, like either is it if it's empty or if it's not empty. In both case, it should be showing that to the user. So that's one thing. The create button will be going to the top, and then we will have this, which will basically center align and show the buttons to this. And then over here inside this section, this is basically the playlist side. For that, let's just create a composable. Okay, and that composable is going to be composable function playlist item, and that is gonna take the playlist model and on item click in return. Okay, so that's that, and we saw this is basically like a raw. We'll add modifier dot fill max, not size, fill max width. Add some padding. Padding should be 8.dp because we are already having some sort of padding to this. And before adding that padding, we need to have a background. We have a background. I think we don't have the background, so we are good. We just be using same thing for this. Now inside that we need an image. Okay, and then it's more like an async image. Okay, and the model is equals to if playlist model dot cover image is there. So like if playlist is, let's just do one more thing for this. We will be using one function. Let's create a function and let's call it get image from playlist. Okay, and then pass that playlist model to this. What it will do is that will be say first thing that will check image URL that it has, like the cover image. Second is going to be wall song image, if there is any song. So you can say first or null of the image URL, and then last is going to be wall final place folder based image. Or let's just not use that, instead let's just use the same thing and make it a string that can be a nullable, return that as song image. Now over here you can see you can pass the song, sorry, get image from playlist model. Else you can say painter resource r dot. Okay, okay, I'm gonna use the profile for that, and I think that should be something. Fill max width, no, we're not gonna use that. Instead we're gonna size that to be, at least 60.dps. That's that. And then along with that you will be using a column for this, and that column is supposed to be the name, description if there is. Okay, or since we don't have the description, you can say the, let's use, oh, I think it's empty list, so it will always be zero, so I think that's fine. So now this is the playlist item that we have, and you can also make it clickable, right? And on this we will say on item click dot invoke. In that case, come on. Okay, in that case it will do that, and now we'll be using that, and rather than using that, instead I'm gonna use lazy column. Right, the modifier is there, and now over here I'm gonna say items with the one that says list. Okay, so inside that I'm gonna use data. Okay, I think that data is fine. Need to pass that data inside that, and now you can use something like this. Now you can see that we have the lazy column set up as the this section. I think we can perhaps add something else to this as well, but no, I think it should be fine. Now let's just run this. This time when I go to the playlist screen, I should see a much better design than the previous implementation, and I think that would be enough for this video as well, because I feel the video is getting a little bit lengthier. So okay, now we're over here, we go to the playlist section and it's crashing. Very nice, that's really good. It shouldn't crash. Why is it crashing? It's saying that the problem is parameter specific get image from playlist. Okay, I, why is it again? Which parameter is null? Okay, let's just do it slightly better way. So we can say if playlist model dot songs dot is not empty, in that case you can always get something like this. Okay, else you can use a cover image. Okay, now I think it should be fine. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, now Oh, so the songs are empty. It can be null. Okay, so that is the problem. The songs can be null. The server is basically returning null for some reason. You can see this is the items. The songs count is there, but the songs are not there. Songs is literally not there. So that is basically a problem from the backend. We can fix that, but for now, let's just yeah, like make sure that it's null or like null checked before we get there. So you can always something like this equals to true. Then now it should be fine, right? Now let's just try. This time it should not crash at least. And I'll basically have to fix that section as well because that is going to be really important for our next video. Okay, now we get over here. What the hell? Okay, so we have this one more problem that we need to fix. So I'm gonna say wall image is equals to get image from playlist and pass that playlist model. And now over here we'll say if image not equals to null. In that case, you can use that async image section like this. Else, you can use an image with the same section. You just remove this part of it. Rest is going to be same. And now let's just try once again. This time hopefully it will be working. Okay, we are over here. Okay, finally, much better. The image is there. Songs are not like added to this to the playlist. So right now, that's why it's looking like this. We have the create playlist section on top. So I think pretty much what we wanted for this. We definitely need some more, side implementation. For example, having the title text style for this. So you can always use this material theme dot typography dot title medium, I would say. And now I think it should be better. Okay, it's like slightly better, but again the problem is the image. Once the image start coming with the songs, it will be much more better in term of the design. And I think that's pretty much what we would be doing in this video. So thank you so much for watching this video. I have implemented the basic playlist. In the next video, what we are going to do is that we are going to implement the rest part of the design. For example, we will be working on um, uh, how to add the playlist a song into the playlist, how to remove the song from the playlist, and based on that, like whatever that's basically pending there, and we'll try to like finish up the playlist section in the next video. So I'll see you in the next video. If you have any question, queries, comments, you can always comment in this video. Else you can join my Discord server and we can take it from like discuss the stuff over there as well. And one more request is to always like, comment, and share the videos so that it can be exposed to more users. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy coding. Bye. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you don't forget any update. If you got any question, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Also, for quick updates and tips, you can follow me on Instagram. Until next time, keep learning, keep developing. Bye.